Hello, how's everyone doing? Today I wanted to talk about the future of the trading card game and what I know about what's coming and maybe hopes and excitement for things that could be. So, we have Wilderness coming out at the end of this month, and it looks so beautiful with all the dragons, and I'm personally really excited for Paul Bunyan. That I've known of Paul Bunyan for a really long time, and Babe, and Wilderness is coming out with numbered cards, like in the tops, the first sighting cards, and I think that's really cool to have a card that's like 5 out of 1,000, and it's kind of silly, but to a point you'd be able to sell your card and you'd be able to find it again in the future and know, oh, that's my exact card, whereas like the Mothman, every Mothman looks the same to a point, so you couldn't necessarily distinguish between them. But yeah, the song for Wilderness is coming out on the 15th, and I've liked the other two songs. The Nightfall one's playing in the background here, and I think that's a pretty good song. And so I think they did a little spoiler for the Wilderness song when they showed the Wilderness Tops box, and that I have all my Wilderness content, or all the Wilderness boxes and stuff on pre-order, so I have lots of content for that and planned once I get it. So if you want to see that, subscribe, and I'll get to that once it arrives here in Canada, which it might be a bit late, might not arrive on the 31st. I expect it to come a little late, maybe a week or something, but who knows. They were saying they're ahead of schedule, so it could be here on time. And Nightfall 2nd edition is coming out in the fall, I think, along with Seance at the end of October. And the Seance is a really cool set. It's almost like another ghostly Halloween type set, and they might have, like, I was thinking Bloody Mary or Casper or the Ghost of Christmas Past or Future, and maybe even the Flying Dutchman. That, I think that'd be really cool. And there's lots of ghostly spirits and cryptids, and I think it's a really popular set, along with UFO and aliens are super popular, and the UFO set's coming out at the end of July, and maybe they'll have like a Martian card or the Men in Black or some crop circles. Those would be pretty cool. And I heard tins are coming out, so UFO is gonna have tins, the first tins of MetaZoo, and considering how much I like the art of all the other spell books and theme decks, that I expect the tins to look pretty nice also. And then in 2023 they have the War set coming out, and I was thinking maybe all 3 of the sets coming out that year would be related to war, and that each one might be a different battle themed. And then in 2024 they have Yokai Island coming out, and I'm pretty sure that goes over to like Japanese cryptids, and I feel like cryptids are really popular in Japan. But then again, I feel like cryptids in general are popular. Like, everyone has a cryptid they like the Boogeyman or the Grim Reaper or the Loch Ness Monster, and you don't necessarily need to believe in cryptids to think they're cool and enjoy them. And Mike was saying when he was young, he pictured a Pokemon war, that there's some big war in Pokemon, and I was thinking to a point there was a war in Pokemon in the first movie, and like Mewtwo and all the Pokemon were fighting against each other of the same type, and I was wondering if maybe the war in the Cryptid Nation would look like that, like cryptid versus cryptid, or is it going to be caster versus beasties, or is it just going to be like a free-for-all of any type and any person on any side? And I was thinking of things they might add for the future of the trading card game, and I thought the World of Warcraft trading card game had a lot of cool features to it. Like it had the loot cards, and that MetaZoo's coming out with a game, so maybe when they release their game, they'll release loot cards that you can redeem for in game. And I feel like these cards are just a little special treat, or you don't necessarily need to use them, like a lot of these are unused, but they just add a little extra excitement when you open a pack and you get a loot card. And there were also things like the box here of the class starter decks, and they had these dungeons, and you take a starter deck and one of these dungeon sheets here, and you'd go through and you'd slowly level up your character, and you'd beat the dungeons and the bosses, and you'd get loot cards or packs as a reward, and you'd add that gear to your character, and it was like you were going on an adventure and you'd get stronger, and then you could go and challenge like Onyxia's lair and do a single like raid encounter, and you'd need like multiple players to do these. But it was interesting having a more instead of a 1 versus 1 card game, it was like a massive side against one person, or a AI almost type play. And there was the Ice Crown here, for example, and clearly I didn't complete it because I still have the loot cards unopened, and I'm sure some people just go right to the loot cards and open them, but I feel like it's part of the adventure was completing the dungeon or the raid and getting the loot, and then you add it to your deck and improve your deck. And I just thought it was a cool feature to the game, and you didn't necessarily need to get the raids or take part in the dungeons, but it was a whole other side to the card game that could just be added on. And I think it would be really cool if MetaZoo added something like that. So that's all I have for my hopes and what I know about the card game, and I hope you enjoyed the video and have a good one.